I'm Luka, and welcome to my Nueva project. I had always been interested in fashion and cool clothes, but sometimes it becomes hard to find the kind of clothes that you want. So for my Nueva project, I designed and printed jackets, some of which I gave to my family, and others I kept for myself to wear. As I said, I'm interested in fashion, so for this project, I used different styles and designs that I had seen, and tried to incorporate them into the designs that I made. I had many different kinds of inspiration, from skins in a video game to a cool design in my math teacher's room. I also took inspiration from random pictures that I found around the internet, from the city skyline to a cool bug. Here are a few more photos that I took inspiration from. All of these photos gave me different ideas. Maybe one gave me a cool idea for backgrounds and shading, while another gave me a cool color combo. Whatever it was, these are the base for designs that I ended up making. This was the first design that I ever made. As you can see in the picture, it is messy with choppy lines and weird shading. Also, the lighting reflected the drawing in a bad way. But not everything was terrible. It showed me how easy the actual process was of turning the image that I had into clothes. And then all I needed was a really cool and refined drawing, and I would be good. After I made the first step, I got to work on the design. This was the first piece that I made. The colors have a light and airy feel to them, and combined with the flowy shapes in the drawing, it made for a really good start. After my first piece, I decided I should start to document the processes of drawing, even if only a little bit. So I decided to draw the outlines first, take a photo, and then fill in the color. This is the outline for my second drawing. I like how this one uses negative space, so the background becomes some of the most important parts. Well, after drawing the base, I decided that I wanted to make this drawing really colorful, using almost all the markers that I had. Here is the outcome of that. With the color in, I still think that the background yellow is the part that just pops out the most, because it is just so much brighter than all the other side pieces. Here's the base for my third design, which had a little bit of color in the middle. The base for this one was really structured, expanding outward from the middle, so I thought that it would be cool to put color here, which I think worked. This is the colored version of my third drawing. Because this one was more structured, I thought that I would use a pattern in the way that I colored it, so the blue was only on one side of the triangles, depending on where the square below came from. The purple sides had a nice layering effect, which I made by only moving my marker brush in one direction and staying there for a second while coloring it. This is the uncolored version of my last drawing, and it, as you can see, is a structured array of triangles, with some being completely filled in with black. One thing I like about this one is the way that it looks like the surface is bent, because the triangles are less clumped up in the center. Here's the colored version of that. As you can see, it's all made of triangles with either red, blue, or black colored in. The way that the blue fills the triangles has a cloudy feel to it, which I like. I did this by keep layering it on, so the middle part became a lot darker than the sides on the edge, which had a little bit of white in it. After I finished the actual designs, I had to put them onto the jacket and decide if I wanted to make any changes or things. For a few of them, I decided to make the design small and have it repeat on the collar, wrist, and waist. I also had to place the designs in different ways, depending on the shape of the placement of the parts in it. After finishing up the models, I ordered them, and they came just before winter break. Here are some close-ups of the models. First, we have the wave blue and purple design. This was one of the jackets that I made where the collar had a super small repeating of the pattern, which made the shapes much denser. While this worked on the front, there was an error in the processes, which made that the back of the collar had just the normal density of the shape. This was slightly disappointing, but I did expect some things to go wrong. It would be based on the online site. Next, we have the blue and green square design. In this one, I put the triangles on the sleeves, collar, and waist. Also, I put the center square right on the chest, so it would look like the jacket expanded from the heart. Finally, I have the red and blue triangle design, which is the one that I made the most design modifications to. On this one, I made the hood have smaller triangles, and also the waist and wrist area. Additionally, I made the design slightly smaller around the pocket. This is my personal favorite, and I ended up giving a copy to my dad for Christmas. Now, you may have noticed that one of my designs was missing from these photos. This was because of a problem with the design. When I was drawing with the design with colorful lines in the yellow background, I had brushed my yellow marker against the black line, and it had carried some of the color into the yellow background. This was hard to notice on the paper, so I did not think it would be a very big deal when finally doing the project. However, when I got the jacket, it was really visible and looked like I had spilled something on it, so I had to cover it up some way. I decided to stitch a piece of fabric down the middle. I couldn't even use a sewing machine because of how the fabric was organized, so I had to stitch it myself. The only problem, I had no idea how to stitch, so I asked my mom to teach me the basics, and I started stitching. Because it was my first time, it took a really long time. When I finished it, I was actually quite disappointed in it. I thought that it was messy and sloppy because of my inexperience, which is really disappointing because I did work quite hard on it. Anyway, here are some photos of my brother wearing that. To end this presentation off, here are some photos of my other families and myself modeling the jackets. Overall, the project was a success. I was happy with how most of the jackets looked, and if I decided to make something else sometime, I do not know how to do it. I will now know how to do it, sorry. Some things that I'll be interested in doing in the future is embroidery, which is a site that I use. It's called Printful. Had an option for it, where I'm assuming you would just draw like an outline for something, and then it would turn it into the stitched embroidery. Another kind that I might try is shoes. Thank you for considering me and for watching this video.